What's up, everybody? It is I, Sigma, and we are back with episode 57 of the BBET GamesCast. I'm joined by Superman Jeff.
What's going on, people?
As well as Mr. Gamer.
Hello there.
And Blue Bones.
It's your boy. What's going on, everybody?
What's up? Welcome back. Hope everyone is well rested and ready for a good, long discussion. There's a lot of news to cover. But as we always do, we tend to start with what we've been playing. Does anybody want to go first?
I only have one thing.
Alrighty.
Grounded.
Oh, nice. You actually started that.
It's fun.
It's different. It's really difficult. But I know that a lot of the issues that I was having was because it's still early build game. But from what I was able to play with Blue, Matt, and Chibs, it's a kiddie version of State of Decay almost, and that's not bad.
I gotta disagree. With that. I
Okay.
feel like State of Decay was more of like personnel management as well as survival. This is more individual survival and don't get eaten on the spot, in my opinion. But you still are working in a team, and you're sharing research, and you guys are all building and helping each other. So there's definitely co-op aspect. But I feel like State of Decay was more on the there's a lot more focus on the characters that you controlled rather than the environment and what was going on around you.
My question is, how does it handle like the single player versus co-op survival aspect? Because that's what I feel like State of Decay is really dropping the ball on. Because you'll jump into a game, someone else's game, State of Decay, and you're just helping them and their community, and you don't get a ton of stuff for your own thing. Like, they keep it separate. Like, is this more of a collaborative thing?
Gamer, this is what you've been playing. You want to?
I have to say it's collaborative in the sense that you must be speaking with people. At least from what I've seen, there isn't like a pinging system saying, "Hey, I need this, looking for this," sort of thing. It's definitely everyone in party like, "Okay, I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna go do this. Hey, is somebody keeping check on the time? Oh wait, nope, it's got to get that time. We all got to go to sleep." And then everyone collectively has to do that. And especially in the beginning, you must work together or a spider will just eat you. Like, that's just going to happen.
The spiders are the big bad of
Is the survival mode more like what Fortnite originally was? Is it more like that?
No, I would not say it's more like that, because it's not as much building, and you have significantly less powers and things like that. I jumped into a game that Blue, Chibs, and Matt were already playing, so there probably could have been a tutorial or something that I missed. But right off the bat, it was, "Hey gamer, go get this." It's like, okay, but my character is really thirsty. Oh look, there's water. Oh, that water hurts me, and I didn't know that. Well, let's keep on going with the next one. So it was just like, okay, yeah, this is definitely going to have a learning curve. You need to have a plan as well. Like, get that base set up, get your food, and then get your defenses set up ASAP, or you are spider food or ant food or whatever it is that's just trying to kill you.
So more survivalist focused, less kind of base defense, I guess.
Oh, definitely in the idea of survival. And it is nice because you are viewing things, when you're like this tiny, so a drop of dew is really big, or you can clearly tell like how really annoying gnats are. If you thought gnats were annoying when you're normal human size, try to be as small as one of those things, and then you'll get to see how annoying a gnat really is.
So I mean, was it fun then at the end of the day?
Me personally, no.
No, okay. So you were not a fan.
But again, it's probably just gonna need more polish, but I couldn't quite get into it. I'll watch it though.
All right, that's interesting take. So nothing that you were watching, just
let me see. The only thing, finally, I am almost up to Sokka's master on Avatar: The Last Airbender. And
I would say that's a good episode, but let's be honest, they're all good episodes.
This dude.
I will say some of the things that Aang has been doing in the Fire Nation has me asking some questions. But then again, it was pointed out that he has not had a chance to be a normal kid in so many words. So the fact that he's like going to school and doing all this stuff, in my head, it's like, Aang, you have significantly more important things to do. And I'm like, oh wait, you're 12.
And that's also how he got into the situation in the first place, right? They told him, hey, you have a lot of very important things to do, and the man ran away. So that's just
like, yep. So that wasn't too bad. I definitely can feel how things are coming to a close. And I just just one more thing. Why Zuko? Why? I know that he comes up from this, but it hurts me to see him again in the dark when your uncle is right there and he wants to help you and you are cursing him out, calling him stupid, calling him a fool, all this stuff. It hurts me. It hurts me to just watch my boy take these beatings like this, because that's all he's doing. He's just taking these beatings and just stuck and trying to get this honor, and it's just like, oh, this part gets hard to watch.
I can see that.
Okay.
It's that teenage angst, that teenage energy. Like, they don't do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah. Oh, and Azula can drown. Azula can just straight drown.
Okay, so I think that wraps it up for Gamer.
Yeah.
I can go next if no one else was chomping.
What you got, bro?
The review already came out for this, but another game I had to play for work was called Thousand Threads. In short, it's not fun. It's essentially, it was a game that was kind of built around systems. Like, the whole goal was, we want to give you this big open world with all of these generated characters who, each time you start up a playthrough, they'll be different people, they'll be in different places, they'll have different things for you to do, and you're just going from person to person and interacting with the world and like affecting it as like this kind of wrench in the system, right? Which all sounds well and good, but the fact that so much of it is left up to kind of auto generation, none of it seems interesting, none of it seems compelling. It's and like there was little to no variety in what you had to do anyway. Like, the whole premise is you wake up in like this big kind of frontier like map. The map is fairly big, but the first thing you do is you come across like a dead mail carrier. You go to the post office, and then he says, oh, my mail carrier is dead, I gotta handle some stuff for him, you take over delivering the mail. So you get a mail bag, a bunch of letters, and then you can go, explore all the different places to find these specific people to deliver their mail. And you have the option to read their mail, and within those letters is the only context for what's happening. Yeah, you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question. I didn't want to interrupt you.
No.
Does it make sense for your character to want to be a mail carrier, or like in the story?
Like, that's the thing. There's almost no story. Like, you yourself have like no goals, no motivations. Like, you name yourself, but that's it. Like, you're almost a ghost in the world that everyone kind of just talks to, but you have no real goal or personality. You're kind of just interacting with this place. And that could have worked if the place was at all interesting, but nothing matters. Like, you have a mailbag, you can read all the mail that's in there. There's no consequence for doing so. Even though, like, you have to basically press a button to open it. Like, everything is sealed because it's an envelope, but you read the mail and, like, no one says, hey, why'd you read my stuff, or whatever. You deliver it, you find the people who it's for, you deliver it to them, they say, thanks, they give you a tip. No context, like, nothing. Like, I was reading this, there was one situation where it's like a father and son who have had, like, some kind of a feud, right? Like, the one son or the father is writing to the other, and like, they're not getting responses back. Like, they keep writing to them saying like, oh, you're gonna be like that, fine, I don't care, blah blah blah. So then you deliver the stuff to them, and that's it. You don't get to see that this situation progresses to another stage, or like there's no like confrontation between them that you get to kind of see pay off. It's just, you get context in those letters, but the world is kind of divorced from that. Like, it doesn't matter. So like, why am I playing this game?
Motivation is huge when it comes to
Yeah, like
story
people
drive and stuff like that. And
people will come up to you and say, "Hey, I want you to deliver this to that guy," and it's like a stick or a piece of paper, or
what?
yeah, like it's like
I hate that stuff.
yeah, like it's totally pointless. It's like busy work for the sake of there being busy work. Like I don't know.
That's yeah. That's
Yeah.
some of the like in Final Fantasy 14 the very first story, The Realm Reborn.
Mhm.
That's a lot of those missions that they were cutting down the
Oh
time
my
in this
God.
revision. All the little like farming missions and all the
Yeah.
little hey, send this love letter to that person across the street. Like all that stuff, they shrunk it down and took out a lot of it because
I
it is stupid. And I'm the warrior of light. I'm not a mail carrier. I'm not a farmer. If I wanted to be, I would. But I'm trying to save your world and the others.
But imagine if
creatures collect their skins and then bring them back, and I'm like, I hate those type of missions.
all right, but
Oh,
imagine taking away even the context of why you're doing that thing. Like
Yeah,
someone walks up to
exactly.
you and says, give me five rocks. You give him
Yeah.
5 rocks, mission accomplished. You don't know what you needed it for. Like it was like you could tell there was work put into the systems to kind of make all of these generated NPCs, give them different names, have them be parts of families. Like I will commend the system that they put in there to kind of find people, because
World generation.
yeah, because you have to talk to people to get information on other people. So it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm looking for Jake Callahan. I asked this person, I don't know who that is. You ask this other person, it's like, oh yeah, I think I last saw him around this location. And then it's like you'll have a little progress bar that gets a little bit more filled. And the more people you ask, it'll kind of fill up the bar until you know their exact location. Which is a cool concept that could have been used in in anything else that was more interesting. Like if those
Yeah.
people mattered at all, but they don't. So I thought it was a complete waste of time. But other than that, I just actually finished a game called Scully. This is a puzzle platformer. You play as a skull that's been brought back to life by this Earth god named Terry. You get it, like Terra Nova, blah blah blah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Like
okay.
the game
Yes,
tries
we
to be
know.
very tongue in cheek like that. Like the voice acting is really good, but some of the writing is a little too cartoonish, if that makes sense. Like they're really trying hard to be entertaining, and for a younger player, I can see them being entertained by this. But
Yeah.
it's harmless.
You ain't feeling the
I mean,
jokes.
I didn't think it was bad. It's just it's not necessarily my cup of tea, you know.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I will say the puzzle elements in the game are actually pretty strong. Like as the skull character, you can like dip yourself in like these clay ponds, and then you can form different golems, which give you different abilities. So like I can be like
Oh, that's
this,
pretty cool.
yeah, I can be like this big one that can like pound the ground and like punch through walls. That'll give me access to other places. Eventually, he can take the skull out of himself and like chuck it across chasms or whatever, which is cool. There's a shorter one that's like super fast. He can like run and jump over long gaps. He also has the ability to like move platforms. I don't remember what axis it is, but like from left to right. And then there's a different one that can jump really high. You can move platforms up and down.
X-axis.
And you can have all 3 of those different things, or any combination of the 3, out at any specific time, which means you can switch between them and have them combine their abilities to do certain things. Like, oh, I need a platform that goes up, and I can throw the skull up to the platform so that I can jump to this other thing. So like it's really cool how they have you combine things. There are multiple solutions to a lot of the puzzles that they give you, which I thought was dope.
Okay. Yeah.
But the game relies heavily on platforming, and the platforming just outright sucks. Like,
Ooh, well,
No.
yeah, you're a rolling skull, so a lot of the time, like, without moving, like, you'll kind of move down a hill, or you're a tiny thing, and like there's momentum, and you have to like jump a gap, and like it doesn't feel as precise as you would want it to be. And even when you're in like the golem forms, like, you either move too slow to feel comfortable jumping, or like you'll overshoot a thing because you're moving too fast. Like it just doesn't stay consistent, and never felt good. So like I had trouble with that, but because it takes up so much of the game, like I really felt it hampered everything else. Like the puzzles were like good, but then like you die after you set up a puzzle thing to try to jump on it, and then you'd have to start the whole thing over. Like what you built didn't stay in place. You had to basically redo that whole thing.
That sucks.
Yeah, so that annoyed the crap out of me. But overall, like, it's not a bad game. It just could use some work. But I don't know, like a kid would probably enjoy it, even though some sections do get really tricky. I'd be surprised if they wouldn't need some like adults help eventually. But overall, not the worst in that genre, but nothing too exciting about it either, I had to say. But that was all I played. I did finally get around to watching the Adventure Time finale. So,
how'd you like it?
Spoilers.
No, I'm not gonna give you any spoilers. I won't give you any spoilers. I realized that I never even saw the last season. Like all of season 10 is on HBO Max.
Man, I didn't start yet either.
Yeah, like I didn't realize. But the last season is just as good as all the other ones. The last episode is a 45-minute like feature, and I really like what they did. And again, I won't spoil it, but like they spend the last season wrapping up a lot of questions that you have throughout the whole show. But then the final episode kind of it leaves it where there's space for more to happen, and clearly that's the case because there's more stuff coming out. If you haven't heard, like the Distant Land specials are going to be like a series of specials coming out on HBO Max. So like they kind of open the door for that.
And bubblegum thing.
Oh, say again.
Weren't they supposed to do like a Marceline and Bubblegum spinoff or something like that?
That
There's
I don't
a BMO
know.
spinoff for sure.
Yeah,
like
the Distant Lands thing has BMO in it, and you understand why if you watch that finale. But honestly, Adventure Time, if you've not watched all of it, it's gonna be so confusing. But
that's exactly where I'm at.
But I loved it. I really did love it. Like that show was so endearing. Like it does something to me that I guess a lot of other shows don't do. Like it's like this weird sense of melancholy and like joy mixed together because like they do such a great job of just mixing that feel. Like this world is happy and go lucky, but like all these characters are flawed. All of them are dealing with such like heavy histories. Like all of them have like Jake, Finn, Princess Bubblegum, Marceline. All of them have very, very dark, depressing histories. Ice King especially.
Yeah.
Like even the new character, like Magic Man, Betty. Oh my God! If you know anything about these characters, like their histories are dark, and like all of that stuff comes to a head. Like there's some very horrific stuff in that final scene, in that final movie. I mean, but they handle it in a very Adventure Time-esque way. So definitely check that out if you're still on the fence about it. I think it's a solid conclusion, but it's not really a conclusion because there's gonna be more. So I liked it, but that's pretty much all I played and watched.
All right.
What about you guys?
I guess I'll go next. So
you want to go?
We played some Valorant, free for all.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That was fun and also very difficult. Okay, for me it was getting used to playing a first-person shooter on PC. I kept wanting a controller. So the whole time it was going on, I was like, how can I get this controller to work? I'm looking up like,
y'all would not stop talking about, can I get a controller? I was like, yo,
it's a pain.
Learn something different, yo.
it is. Like, it doesn't help that I felt like my mouse wasn't accurate. Like when I was sniping, there's a couple times I had to drop on people, and I'm like, poop, and it's like, nope. It's like either left, ankle, went to the ankle. I hit a couple shots here and there, but it wasn't like consistent to the point where I could actually be viable in an actual match. You know, it was me just pretty much just running around, trying out abilities, hopping on ledges, getting, just trying to get. So if I get behind somebody, they don't see me, then I have a better chance of killing them because then it's not a who's gonna aim first fight. So it's a little bit better. But some of the stuff with the controller, I felt like having a controller, even though it wouldn't have been as accurate as a mouse, I felt like I would have gotten a kill a few times. Yeah, just because I'm so used to it.
Completely agree.
I mean, I might need a better mouse or something like that. I mean, it wasn't even the keyboard controls, which is usually the issue with using, but I'm used to playing League of Legends, which uses the same W, E, Q, all that stuff. So I'm pretty used to using that. It's just the aiming aspect of it was just like it wasn't working. So I was just like,
but I think his
abilities.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I think you hit the nail on the head earlier. You just say you wasn't used to it. Yeah, and it just takes time, man.
I might just need a new mouse. A little bit more accurate.
One or the other.
One or the other. But the abilities I thought were pretty cool. I do like the one chick, can't remember her name. She uses like wind and kunai and
Jet.
whatnot. Yeah. So like her Q pops her up in the air, which allows her to get into different areas that other people can't really get to.
Mm-hmm.
But also when you use her Q, I noticed like if you pop her C, it creates like a dome of like people can't see it. There's like a dome of wind that can't be seen through.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
pop that. If there's a fight going on, you use your Q to pop up in the air. Then you use her E at the height of her Q to go to dash across, and you just end up right behind people while they're in a firefight. Now, last part I couldn't kill them. Something different.
So yeah, that sounds like a really fun like kit
Yeah,
if you could use those abilities when you want, because that was my problems with the keyboards. Like I could never pull out my abilities exactly when I wanted them. Like I would have to think ahead of it, have it primed already, and then shoot it.
Yes.
Like I wish I just had buttons that I could just hit, because it would so many situations I feel like I would not have died in if I just could have respond fast enough.
I feel like that's part of the challenge with using your skills is that they do take prep time and you can't just flash them. You know, you can't like you have to be ready. You have to have a plan because it takes a long time for some of them to activate. Two, it takes a longer time to switch to a gun to actually kill somebody. And so you really got to have a plan going into every fight there. It's very rare that someone gets a drop on you and you come out on top. It's rare that happens.
Yeah, because the shooting is still kind of king. Like
Yeah.
in some instances, like when I was low on funds, I would just go out into the battlefield with just a pistol, and still cap
It'll
people
work.
because they, I got the drop on them. They weren't paying attention. Like 2 headshots, 1 headshot, like it's over.
Yep.
So I really appreciate that at least.
I was getting ankle shots and
Hey, shot the shot, baby.
But you're right. It's like the gunplay is primary and the skills are secondary. But you can tell that they took a lot from League of Legends because a lot of your abilities have synergy together. So like I say, you pop this and then pop that. It's like almost like a combo in essence. It's like a lot of them work very well together. And it seems like same thing with kind of similar to Overwatch, where other heroes' abilities work very well together to compound. Now the ultimate, I used it once, but there was nobody around because I don't know why I kept thinking it was like her kunai pop out and it just like a fan of kunai. No, they pop out and then you got to throw them on individually or throw all of them at once. So I thought it was like, oh, you pop your like Overwatch, you pop your ultimate and then
Yeah.
something happens.
Right.
No,
For some characters, yeah.
yeah, so it pops out, and you have to individually aim at each character or throw them all at one person. So I got killed a couple times like that. Like, I pop up behind somebody, I pop my ult, and then they're just looking at me, and I'm like, okay,
Did I kill y'all?
you're still here. What's going on?
But I popped my ult.
So it was a fun game. I hope they do bring it to console. I would really enjoy it on console.
Yeah, I played a lot more on consoles for sure.
From what I read, it said it's not counted out. They are testing some console, but they haven't confirmed it or anything like that. So, secondly, played some Smash on Thursday.
Yeah, that's when you got.
Oh right, yeah, on stream.
Yeah. So got some interesting stuff I'm gonna try out this week. That I've been working on. See how that goes. Something new, something different.
Okay.
Took it back to the original Smash. So we're gonna see how that's gonna go.
The original Smash. Okay.
Original Smash. Then after that, I did stream some. Or before that and after, I did stream some of The Last of Us 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this game is beautiful. Down from the horses behind.
That's a weird. It's a very weird rubric.
Because I was riding the horse and it was like, they got some beautiful horses, and the only thing you could see from the horses behind. So I was like,
oh, look at
Okay,
this horse.
chill.
Oh
You
man.
put this in bad context. What I said on stream was
Right.
Sony loves their horses because I was also playing Ghost of Tsushima at the same time, and it was very similar. We'll talk about that in a second, but the horse looked really good in that, and then I go and see you play Last of Us 2, and I was like, oh, okay, Sony loves their horses. I wasn't talking about no horse behind. Don't try to slander me on this podcast.
Oh man.
Oh man. What else you got, Jeff?
It was a beautiful game. From the start
Yep.
of the game, the opening scene where Joel's talking to Tommy. Not gonna go any specifics, but the music, the music is I'm not one who really looks for great music in video games, but the music, Joel playing the guitar, like it's not a spoiler, but they have you play the guitar a few strings for him on a little touch sensitive thing
Okay.
Yeah.
on the PS4,
Right. Okay.
and then he picks it up, and it's just a beautiful song. Like he plays, because he's playing on the guitar. Then the lyrics kind of tell you a little bit about how he's feeling. It's an original song, so it's telling you a little bit about how he's feeling and what's going on with him. In comparison to Ellie and some other stuff. I didn't really do any combat, but it was mostly just talking to characters, the cutscenes, and the world is just beautiful. Um, I'm excited to play more of it just because of how it looks aesthetically and the music. So I'll probably play some more of that this week. Um, Besides what I've been playing, I think that's about it. As far as watching, I watched the most recent episode of God of High School.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
That was heavy.
Yeah, it was.
That ending was brutal.
Yeah, there's a little spin I wasn't expecting, but I'm like, so I'm wondering what happened, what's going on now. So if you haven't watched it yet, I would check it out. I mean, it's like one of the best hand-to-hand combat anime I think I've seen at all.
Yeah, I'm really excited to watch that choreography.
Yeah.
Are you? How excited are you? Like from one to
Very,
10?
which is why I don't. Is why I don't want to have to wait week to week. Damn it.
You don't want to enjoy the hype of the week to week.
Right.
I don't care about the hype. I care about the
You
animation.
don't.
The anime. Aside from that, One Piece. I made it back up to the Marineford arc, so that's where I am.
That's the like the Ace situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, made it to where Luffy, because some stuff I missed in between, like some of the side episodes, like of each character, because they get separated at what's the name of the island? I forget.
The one with all the bubbles.
Yeah, the
Subodie.
Bubble Island.
Yeah, it's on the top of
Subodie.
Subodie, yeah. So they get separated there, and then Kuma, sends them all to different areas. But it's like the despair that they're feeling when he's sending them off because they think he's killing each person.
Yeah. That
So
that episode is pretty heavy.
Yeah, like it takes and obviously Luffy's the last one, and he just just kill me, just do it, because he couldn't save anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So his time is not that he's died, is that he couldn't save anybody. She couldn't stop him. He wasn't strong enough to do anything about it, and that kind of starts to set up the future because he goes to Impel Down to save Ace, and that's the thing about Luffy and most shonen protagonists. They make allies out of past enemies and kind of how they come about, going through their story. One of the saddest parts was when Mr. 2 stayed behind.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, wait, how's there another Magellan? Like, what's going on? I'm like, no. Like, this man, like, he left Luffy that one time, but he kind of came back. And if it wasn't for him, Luffy would be dead.
Yeah. Like
And-
he owes him twice now.
Yeah, for helping them when they were trying to escape the Marines at Alabasta when they were trying to pick up Vivi,
Yep.
which was a waste because she didn't come. She could have just told him that. So he went to jail for nothing to me. Like, she could just say, hey.
I wish I knew about any of what y'all talk about.
All right, yeah, it's getting a little granular.
Yeah, but it's a great episode, great art. Now I'm starting to build up back to where I was. So now it's just there's going to be the 2-year time skip and how everybody evolves during the course of that. And actually, one of my favorite arcs is actually the Fishman arc, after time skip. So we'll be up there pretty soon, and how it kind of unfolds after that.
Yeah, that's their first adventure after like post time
Yep,
skip, right?
first adventure,
Okay.
because that's where they were going
When they
from
got
before they got sent
stopped.
off. Yeah, that's where they were trying to go when they met the mermaid girl and dealt with the celestial dragons and slavery and all that stuff. So, to talk. Oh, one last minor thing is I started the Transformers anime on Netflix.
How you liking
It's
that?
Is
ac-
that good?
yeah, it's actually pretty good so far. I mean, I watched the first episode, and it deals with the war on Cybertron. So there are no humans, which has always been the issue for me.
Mhm.
There doesn't need to be humans in a robot war.
Yeah,
That's what I want
I
the
would
movies
agree.
to deal with. I wanted the movies to deal with the war on Cybertron, not go to Earth and we got these little meat bags running around and getting involved. So I'm interested
Oh,
to
meat
see,
bags.
you know, I'm interested to see how it unfolds. So yeah, that's all I got.
Nice. All right, how
Ooh.
about you, Blue?
All right, so let me talk. I probably should have went a little earlier, but I wanted to talk about Grounded real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I liked it quite a bit actually, and I feel like it was. I thought I wasn't gonna like it at all. I don't really do survival games like that. But when I first jumped in, I played by myself and I saw ants. I was like, "Oh crap!" And I punched it, and a whole bunch of ants just came and just killed me. And I was like, "Okay, so maybe we see if the ant's trying to kill me first, right?" Went back in. The ant was not trying to kill me. He was just saying, "Hey, what's up?" He was actually really friendly, and I was like, "Oh, okay, dope." Um, after that, just like Gamer said, we played a group game, and I did feel like the building elements was a lot like original Fortnite. Um, especially when we're building a little base, we're building a house. We had like a little storage house on the side, um, and it's really fun and interesting how the insects interact with you. And this doesn't mean like they talk or anything like that, but they're always like kind of curious, like what are these guys doing? Like what are these strange creatures
Mm.
up to? And if you have some food, sometimes the ants will try and steal it. Now that doesn't make them thanks Jeff for the visuals. Uh, that doesn't make them hostile trying to get your food back, but if you hit them, then you got a problem,
Mm.
right?
Is there another way to
Ladybugs are
get it
huge.
back without hitting them though? I'm just curious.
You can actually like if you aim at the food and grab the food and run, you'll be fine. So it's really
If
particular.
you just
It's really
snatch it
particular.
back, but if you
Just snatch the food, but if
okay.
you hit them, they're like, hey, 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 no touching.
Look, I ain't hit you. You ain't had to come over here and hit
I
me.
hit you.
I'm just a
um,
thief. That's all.
yeah, there's the management of the thirst and the hunger, and like Gamer was saying earlier, there's some water that um it doesn't take down your overall life. It's dirty water, so it takes down your hunger when you
Mhm.
drink it. So your hydration will go up, but your hunger will go down. So
Mm.
then you got to eat something to supplement that, unless you have good filtered water. And you can get, and it's not filtered water; it's you collect dew straight from the atmosphere with the spider web. It's pretty interesting. It's called a dew collector. But
So it's like you like gather materials like Fortnite and then craft
yeah.
things like other survival
Mhm.
games. I'm assuming. Well, I mean, all survival games are mostly gathering and
Yeah,
crafting, right?
yeah, gathering
Yes,
a thing
yes,
and
100%. Every time you get a new material, you analyze it in this little machine that they got going on. And the coolest thing I think about this game is you're trying to figure out how the heck you became small. Because when you first go in, they're like, "Is everything big or am I small?" Like the kids don't know what's going on, but there's some
Okay,
strange
it's
device.
a
Yeah,
mystery. Okay.
it's a mystery, and you try and figure it out. And it's cool. We end up finding this little lab under this big oak tree that was our size, and there's like a little robot there. I'm not going to give you too many
No, that's
spoilers
interesting
on
though
that.
that they give you like a kind of a narrative thread to
There
follow.
is none.
So like I guess the
And
longer you survive, the more you learn about the story, right?
exactly,
Makes sense.
exactly. There's like little devices on the floor that you gotta repair, and the big like power cable, the power cables are big to us. So you seen these like electric sparks, and you seen bugs around it. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Definitely worth a shot. Of course, it's in beta right now, so a lot of people. I even did cross play with my friends on PC, And really what it came down to, and what a lot of people are kind of frustrated about right now, is the crashes and stuff. As you load up the game, it tells you it's in beta, it's gonna crash, be patient. So for everybody who skipped that scene and is complaining about the crashes, read that.
Yeah, I mean it's
Yeah,
in
it
early
clearly
access and game preview. Yeah, it makes sense.
It clearly
They're
says
testing
it.
it out.
Yeah. Grounded is fun. I liked building armor and different weapons and stuff like that, and trying to sneak around the spiders. Of course, the spiders are terrifying. And it's cool that they have an arachnophobia meter. So if you're actually afraid of spiders and you still want to play this game, you can turn the intensity of the graphics of the spider down to the point where it's just like two white floating bubbles.
Wow. Okay.
And
That's useful,
yeah,
I guess, if someone like really
Is
can't
that,
deal
is
with
that what you
spiders.
did?
exactly.
Is that what you
That is
did?
not what I did. That is not what I did. I had that turned all the way up. He had like 16 legs, bro. Anyway.
double spider all the way across the sky. Like,
So on the other side of things,
No,
what's up?
real quick, I just wanted to ask, like, how you said you can sneak around them and stuff, but like when you do have to fight bugs, like how's the combat feel?
Okay, so you have a choice. You can be third person or first person. I like playing in third person in general because I like seeing my character and seeing around my character. That is difficult to aim. If you go in first person, it's a lot easier. You're doing like Skyrim mechanics,
Mm.
kind of where you're aiming at the little reticle in the center, and you got to put the enemy there. You can use a spear, you can use your hands, you can use a little axe, a hammer. Those are normally used for like gathering, but you can use them
Using
for
this.
damage as
Okay.
well. You can gather things like acorns to make armor, like plate armor kind of deal. You can grab clovers to make roofs and all kinds of different grass. Dry grass is different than regular grass because it's different consistency. So it's fun. I like it. And I still have a lot more to explore. But people already have like pro tips on grounded right now. Like,
Of course.
it's ridiculous. Like, oh, this is the best spot to build a base, and then you want to do this here and that. Oh, okay, all right, dude, shut up. It just started. We just getting it.
Everybody wants to be a guru.
Yeah. Coming off of grounded, Ghost of Tsushima. I have been loving this so far. The intro is boss. Like it's about 30 minutes of an intro, but it's so worth it. Like you dragged in from the get-go. The big bad from the start, I don't know if he's a big bad the whole time, but he's Genghis Khan's grandson, and he's leading an attack on
Genghis
Tsushima.
Khan.
Grandest Khan. His name is Kutan Khan, and this dude is a boss. I don't want to spoil too much. If you've watched it on the stream, you saw my hype already. It's great. But that intro going all the way up to the title card is gorgeous. I thought about crying. I thought about it because of the way they put it together. I thought about it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so sweet. And it motivates you to play the rest of the game. And I think that's kind of what the Thousand Threads that you were talking about earlier was lacking, is the motivation. And yeah, this gives me every motivation to go in. Now, when I was playing, and I was showing gamers some of it last night, the map is huge. The map is huge, and you can kind of go anywhere you want to a certain degree, but you're always going to find a really nice self-contained story, and it's like borderline mystical. They talk about they have these tales of gods coming down and doing all this stuff and helping man and stuff like that. But then it comes to something that looks realistic, just like a piece of armor. But the armor is very flexible and it's good for shooting bows and arrows, and that's what they were talking about. You know what I mean? Different things like that. I don't want to get too much into it because it just the subtlety of the UI elements just makes this game almost a painting.
Yeah, because
so
they leave a lot off the screen, right?
Yeah. And I will say, the closest game as far as the combat goes that I've played recently is kind of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, where you got a mob, you got to get those parries in and use all the skills at the right time. I feel like it's Sekiro Light, Diet Sekiro, and I enjoyed it. I'm enjoying it so far. I know some people already finished this game, and I'm sitting there like, why would you want to finish this game so fast? Yeah, but I'm savoring it right now, and I'm playing it quite a bit. I know I have a lot. Like the area that I'm in has 24 areas that to be liberated, and then there's 2 other areas that I need to go on to after that, which have another 30 something.
Is that like side stuff, or
What's that?
is that like side stuff, or does that complete the main path, like liberating everything in whichever area you're in?
Liberating everything, I believe, is side stuff. I don't think that's necessary to finish the game.
Okay.
Yeah, but it is really easy to get caught up in side missions. And they all, you can feel like they put a lot of time into every side mission. If someone's like, hey, like my son is missing and he went down to the river and we can't find him, as soon as you get down to the river, it's going to stop and it's going to be like the lost river son, and you're like, okay, this is the story that I'm in.
Like, it might
You
need
know
to
what I
work on
mean?
that title, but but I
Yeah, no, that's a terrible title, but
follow.
this is just off the top of my head.
Are all bosses humanoid, or are there some?
Almost everything is human. The only thing that's not are the dogs. They look like Tibetan. What are they called? Those big mastiffs. Yeah, they look like those. I can't remember the actual name of them, but there's some Mongolian war dogs that are terrifying. When they get you, they'll hold on to your arm, and you can't swing until you get them off. And if there's other boys around you, boy, you better strong arm that dog. I think what makes this game the most appealing, and I'll stop after this, is that while Jin Sakai, the main character, is a samurai at heart, he's grown up as a samurai, he is learning to be a ninja as well, out of necessity. So he's a really cool hybrid between the two. You can start a conflict by saying, hey, yo, I'm here. I'm about to put you down. I'm a samurai. Like, you just tell everybody, look, this is the honorable thing to do. Here it is. And you actually have a standoff, and the warrior comes out, and you guys have like, there's like you have to press and hold triangle and let go as soon as you see them make a move. Now, sometimes they do a fake, and then they'll get you instead, and they do critical damage, almost kill you.
Yeah, that's the mechanic that really like piqued my interest when I was like
it
watching
is
the reviews.
so nice. I recently upgraded it where once I kill the first guy, their second guy will come in because you like intentionally leave your bag open, and then you have a chance to kill him down, and it's all kind of in slow motion those first couple kills.
Yeah, like
and so then the
super
rest of the squad is
cinematic
like, oh my gosh, what just happened? It's really cool, very cinematic. And like honestly, that intro is probably the best intro I've seen in a video very, very, very long time.
Interesting.
Yeah, like I said, I thought about crying during that. As far as watching, I did a lot of anime, just kind of keeping up on my my normals. Jeff mentioned God of High School. Yeah, that ending on God of High School was brutal. I want to take back what I said about this starting out like Naruto, where you just see Sasuke, Sakura, Naruto. It's not that no more. This is different. And then I recently watched the latest episode of Fire Force, and the latest big bad that Shinra is fighting is such a perfect villain. And such a perfect, like, Jeff, I don't know, have you caught up on Fire Force? So, you know, the latest one, the guy, Shinra's fighting the big black guy. They call him the Reflector. And I realized why in that last episode. This man is damn near unstoppable. Right now, he's unstoppable. And I don't know how, like, Shinra finally kind of figured out a way to hit him. This dude got injured for the first time in his life, like, that last episode.
His whole life?
And
okay, Gara.
Kind of like, exactly. I was just about to say, just like Gara. And this dude, instead of Gara, who like snapped and got murderous, this dude is enjoying it because he's kind of a masochist. You gotta see it. It's okay. I'm loving the villains that I'm seeing today. Ghost of Tsushima, Fire Force, even God of High School. There's no definitive villain, but just the life is the villain in that one. So I guess kudos to the villains right now. They're doing it.
I guess.
But that's all I got. All right.
Well, that's everyone's been playing. We're gonna move into our Super Smash Sunday recap. Blue News brought to you by Blue.
What's going on, y'all? Super Smash Sunday. Last week we had a lot. Like, no one person actually held it down for a long period of time. There's a lot of switches. Started off with Jeff running Zelda. You know what I'm saying? But then Paradigm came through with Piranha Plant. Now we know Paradigm's Piranha Plant showed up on this on the scene and just hasn't taken a lot of L's until our Terrace came through with the rando pick, kind of flexed on folks for a little bit, for a lot of bit actually, until Paradigm came back with Piranha Plant. At the end of the day, Sigma dethroned the Piranha Plant with Pikachu, and he had to be super fast to get that. And Paradigm came back with King K. Rool and just couldn't get stopped. So I would say collectively, Paradigm had the most wins, but it was definitely close between Arterius, Jeff, and Sigma as well. So last week was a lot of back and forth. GG to everybody. There's some really cool. Was it this week where we had Fresh? Yeah, Fresh hit 4 shots in a row.
Oh yeah,
off the left side of the stage, son, with Pit. Son, that was one of the craziest. Like I always say, yo, you know, Fresh in his arrows, he's a sniper. But this dude really proved it that day.
That was impressive.
That was super impressive. That was dope. So GG to everybody. Fresh shout out for those 4 shots with Pit off the side. Those were amazing. That's your Super Smash.
Call it 4 shot Fresh. Go for it.
Yeah, that's your Super Smash recap of the week.
All right, so we're gonna move into our quick updates before our topics. Blue, what do you got?
Animal Crossing. Yes, they released released information on another update. No, they actually released the update. Excuse me. July 30th. Summer update wave 2. Now we have sea creatures and diving in the first one, but this time we're looking at a fireworks display, and we're looking at a new character called Luna, who gives you this save data recovery service. It's cloud servicing for Animal Crossing, which is dope.
Wait a second. They made a feature like cloud saving a character that you have to get?
So no, it's not a character that you have to get. It's a character that shows up. So when I say they added a new character, it's like the main NPCs. You're always going to see her around.
So it's an NPC that handles the cloud saving functionality. Okay.
Exactly.
They kind of personified the feature.
It's significant because it's like another permanent, like Tom Nook or Isabelle. Luna is this new character. I believe she's a Aardvark. I'm not 100% sure, but a lot of people are laughing because she's the only person who has like boobs and pretty big.
It's true.
It's true though.
There is so much like fake hatred. Like, you can give us the ability to do all this stuff, Nintendo, but this is a character that gets the blues. This one right here.
It's kind of cool. She puts you into this dream state with aromatherapy and stuff like that, and essentially you can visit people's island even when they're offline, and you can save your stuff to the cloud. So that's super dope. But touch back real quick on the fireworks display. It's a custom fireworks display that you can do, and you can have all your friends out there and just boom, light it off. So I haven't tried it myself yet. I plan to do that this week. I've been kind of slacking on Animal Crossing, and then when time goes by, it kind of messes up your relationship with people. So I'm like really hesitant to go, and the more I procrastinate, the worse. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna get back to it. But that's the update where you're seeing fireworks and you're seeing cloud saving. Cloud saving, we've been waiting on that since the get-go. So I'm glad it's here now. And yeah.
All right. Guess we'll move into our topics. Jeff, what do you got for us on the feature side?
We got some Ubisoft IPs getting greenlit for featured anime. Basically, we have Detective Pikachu director Wilhelm is gonna be Beyond Good and Evil for a Netflix movie. Don't know if that's gonna be. Did they say if it's gonna be animated or live action?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think they said one way or the other, right?
No. Nope. It
Usually
just
they'll say if it's animated. If they don't, that kind of just means it's going to be live action. The Splinter Cell one actually says Splinter Cell anime series coming to Netflix from the John Wick writer.
Yeah, it specified even adult animated.
Yes,
Yeah,
which
this thing's
is
gonna be brutal.
a pretty good fit because Splinter Cell is a lot of CQC, which is kind of what you know John Wick dealt with, a lot of close quarter combat.
Yeah, matter of
Uh,
fact, if you remember that game Splinter Cell Conviction, which was like kind of a
Yep.
break from the regular Splinter Cells that was more stealthy, they did
It
that
was more
mark. Yeah, they did
oriented.
that mark and execute thing, where he would tag all the people and then he would be like boom, 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 in like slow motion. Like it was like it might as well have inspired John Wick. So that's actually
Yeah.
cool that it's kind of coming back full circle.
And that was on the GameCube too. So
Yes, that's where I played it. Yeah,
Was that the co-op one?
I think they all had some level of co-op.
yeah, some of them had some form, but this one was more. It was like a third person. Well, all of them were third person. This one was reminded me of like almost like Max Payne kind of
Yeah,
feel to it.
it was definitely it stepped way more towards action than the stealth. Like there was still
Yeah.
stealth in it, but it was more like avoiding people and then coming behind them and shooting them in the face.
Yeah.
I think Splinter Cell is going to be that's going to be a great anime series, and the fact that hopefully it'll inspire more game studios to start bringing more of their IPs to other entertainment sources like anime and movies and whatnot. There are a lot of them in development now,
Right.
but hopefully this kind of helps kickstart some of that. And then the side note was there was another one. Where did I do my name for it? Okay, I'll have to
If I can talk about it real quick, just
Mhm.
stay on Splinter Cell. I remember there was one specifically that emphasized having two people on it. Like you had the main guy, and I'm sorry I don't know the names, but with the three
Sam
green.
Fisher?
Sam Fisher.
Yeah, Sam Fisher. But then you had another cat. I think he was British or something like that, and his were like purple or blue.
I
The
think you
the
might
other
be-
guy.
You might.
That
be-
was wasn't that double agent?
I think so. I actually went through that whole game with my brother back in the day, and I was like, "Yo, we need to get this game again," because I thought it was a lot of fun. And I think at the end, y'all had to kill each other. Like somebody had to kill the other one. So you go through this whole mission, and then you both have orders. It's like kill the other agent, and so you both gotta look at each other like, "Oh man."
Let's just talk about it.
now I gotta
Yo.
find that game.
Oh, it was dope, man. I remember that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think it was Double Agent. I think it
Yeah, I
was.
think you're right. The Splinter Cells always have really good stories. If you don't remember, they actually tied in almost with the Division series.
Did they?
Did they?
Yeah, they remember they had the in the first one they had the Sam Fisher gear you could get, and they had a whole
Oh, really?
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
but
yeah.
you-
I remember. Yeah, I remember
They
you
had
could
that
wear the
whole,
stuff.
they had a whole file on them and stuff.
Oh, cool.
Wow, that's dope. I didn't know that.
You know what? They are trying to maybe push the Tom Clancy universe into some kind of a shared thing. Like like with if you remember from the Ubisoft conference, they showed that what was it, Elite Squad, which is kind of a cartoony version, but it's just kind of the Tom Clancy All Stars are all doing a thing. And like in Wildlands, they had a mission that where Sam Fisher was like talking to the Wildlands Ghost Recon people, and like giving them something to do. So like they are. I feel like down the road they want all their universes to exist. Like there have been references, I think, to like Abstergo in Watch Dogs or whatever.
Was
Really?
it's helped to keep some things that haven't had any games or anything come out. It helped keep them relevant. Like, oh, okay, I remember Sam Fisher from if it's the first time you hear him
Yeah.
in Wildlands, like, oh, I remember he had this situation in Wildlands, and now he has a game. I mean, that's a lot of younger people might not be familiar with Splinter Cell.
Yeah, it's been a while.
makes sense.
They've kind of been sitting
Yeah.
on that IP.
Yeah,
So this
2010
could
was
bring
the
it
last
to the
time something dropped him out.
and if you don't
Damn.
know,
2013.
making a series, an animated series or movie or whatever it is from a property does help push the popularity of it. If you don't like, for example, they made the He-Man series to help push the toys, which
Initially, yeah.
yeah helps sell tons of toys. So making these other iterations and different entertainment sources does help kind of push that character and that particular IP a little bit further.
That could
and
be the
could
plan,
help with
honestly.
yeah.
The same thing for Beyond Good and Evil. Now that I'm
Yep.
thinking about it, because that's another
It's
IP
been
that's
so
been
long
very
ago.
long dormant. It got a little bit of a boost when they announced the sequel, but that's taken forever. So if they get a good movie off the ground, renewed interest, and then now you can launch the
Yeah.
game alongside it.
Yeah, even if it gets pushed back, hey, this is good pushback. This way, you got a movie coming out, so it helps keep people
There you go.
interested in the actuals.
Checks out.
Beyond Good and Evil.
But
We got
with-
next.
on the Beyond Good and Evil thing, the fact that it's the Detective Pikachu director,
Yes.
I think that's actually a really inspired choice, because Beyond Good and Evil is a world that has like a lot of it's gonna need like a lot of CG creatures and stuff in it, right? Like all these animalistic characters and like humans interacting with them. So like, what basically Pokemon, right? Like that's actually a really smart pick.
Pokemon. I mean, if you look at Mewtwo and all the other Pokemon, they look very similar to what you expected them to look at. And I mean, that's a hard thing. Was bringing. It's always been hard to bring anything animated to live action, and have it actually stand up to the original. And I think they did a great job of that.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
No, you're
So I think
absolutely
that's a
right.
good idea, a good pull.
I
I'm
was
looking
very
forward to
surprised
these-
when I.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I was very surprised when I watched Detective Pikachu at how good everything looked. Like everything, like every Pokemon, I was like, that looks exactly how I imagine it would in real life.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It didn't look extra cartoony. It looked realistic.
Yeah, they fit. They made it fit.
Right? You just watched it maybe a month or so ago.
Yeah, I watched it recently.
Yeah, when it hit HBO,
Um,
I think is when I finally watched it.
So I think I went to the movies this year. I think it was like in last year, June or something. But it does hold up. I mean, not only that, but the casting fit perfectly. Ryan Reynolds was Pikachu. That like helped really push the movie, and the story was good. It was a good story. They kind of kept you involved in what was going on.
enjoyed it.
So hopefully they carry that over.
Much.
Okay, so moving off of the media front, or at least the watchable media front, we're moving to social media. Gamer, what do you got?
Yeah.
All right. So, our corrupted orange in chief, our incompetent commander in chief, has said that he will be banning TikTok because they say really mean stuff about me on the internet. Oh no. Yeah, it's definitely not banned at all. And surprising absolutely no one, people are still actively making fun of the president. Now, I will say, Mr. Gamer does not support in any way, shape, or form cyberbullying. Do not do that. But if you happen to get something trending on TikTok and on Twitter that happens to make fun about the stupidest president of our time, then that's just something you did. And Microsoft was thinking about buying TikTok after Trump's executive order to get it banned. And let me just before I continue, does anyone know what has been going on TikTok?
No, like because I'm a
What
little
specifically.
in the dark, like why he took aim at them.
So, there have been a few things. First of all, there was all the fake news about TikTok is Russian spyware, and then after it was figured out that it wasn't Russian spyware, it was Chinese spyware. And that they're doing all this to get your information.
I mean, it is owned by like a Chinese parent company, though, right? Like that was where like that suspicion came from.
Yes, and the idea was that they're getting your location, they're getting your likes, your dislikes, and someone calmly pointed out, yeah, isn't that what Facebook does already?
100%.
What everything does.
Like,
Everything does.
Isn't that what everything does?
Your Amazon, your Facebook.
So then that was obviously debunked, and then a lot of what is not being shown about these protests that have still been going on all around the world, mind you, a lot of that is being put on TikTok, and you'll actually see Trevor Noah from The Daily Show.
Yeah, he's on there heavy.
is also on there. There's a few other celebrities. Will Smith.
He's funny on there.
Yeah, like there's quite a few people on TikTok. So it is a very popular platform for easy video sharing. It's just right now a lot of it has been used as a political tool against Trump and all of the different kind of conspiracies that he's been throwing out about the protests, the federal agents coming in there. There was for a long time when there was the Wall of Moms, the Wall of Moms protest. I don't know if you all guys are familiar about that. Mm-hmm. So there was a protest where essentially it was a wall of moms in front of black protesters, and you had federal officers opening fire on them. And it was, now this is on TikTok. You haven't seen this covered anywhere else, but it's shared everywhere. There's a huge Black Lives Matter movement on TikTok, but just like there's a large Black Lives Matter movement, there's also the All Lives Matter movement. So you have a lot of people on that side of the fence, and everyone, can you please not roll your eyes that hard? Trust me, I
was looking at my brain for a second, bruh. Like,
yeah. So a lot of what's been happening on TikTok is this huge coalition against Trump, and really just kind of like fact checking him. So it's like if Trump says, "Oh, hey, I'm only going to be leaving if I believe that the election is real," and then across my feed will be a series of videos like, "Yeah, no, he can't do that, and here's the reasons why." And it's like, oh, okay, cool. It's kind of been that sort of thing. You also have YouTube recently talked about how they were going to pull creators from TikTok because that kind of content sharing is just so quick and so simple. I mean, Instagram has pictures and video, but with the way that TikTok has it, you literally just scroll up and then there's another video that can only last up to a minute. But still, think about it. A lot, and I mean a lot, of what TikTok is being used for right now is media that has not been covered by everybody. Like an in-depth, gritty look right there. Like if you want to say, oh, such and such, you know, the protesters are actually terrorists. Oh, well, here's a video of that not happening. Or here's a video of a federal agent putting someone in a car. And there it is, like hard facts. And it sucks that this is what has to happen, but I purely look at this as our fascist in chief upset that he doesn't have control over someone, more specifically something that says some really mean yet true things about him.
I've been saying a lot to folks that 2020 is the year of transparency. You can't get away with nothing. We got receipts. You know what I'm saying? And TikTok is a receipt collector.
Yeah.
And that's why he mad.
and it's not something, and more importantly, more specifically to your point, Blue, anytime something is said, there's always someone immediately like, yeah, no, that's not true. That's a lie. Or wait, we have all of this right here. And here's the other thing too. So fast. You guys remember Trump's failed rally, right? Where yes, that was a big push on TikTok. It was just a few videos of, hey, just go get these seats. And then it was, oh, those terrorists stopped my rally. Or how the merch store had to shut down recently because people figured out, oh, if you just get $1 million worth of stuff in your cart and then leave it, it actually really doesn't look good on the whole merchandise store as a whole. and that was just people on that was literally people on TikTok.
Okay, so they're actively organizing forms of protest.
Yes,
and attacks.
Yeah, like
really.
like online attacks via TikTok. It seems like.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah,
that makes
a whole
sense why he
nother
would
way
want
to
to.
revolt, bro.
He would throw a tantrum and say, "I'm gonna get rid of it." But I do want to talk a little bit about kind of the behind the scenes portion, because Microsoft was trying to purchase them. From what I understand, and I wish we had someone like Brianda here who knows more about like the business stuff.
Yeah.
But from what I understand about this, it seemed like there is some form of law that exists because TikTok is a company that is owned by an international company. There's some precedence of executive powers being able to limit, their actions.
Yeah.
And to circumvent that, I think, was part of the reason why TikTok, who I think was mainly an American-made company, they just have Chinese investors, was trying to divest themselves from China. And Microsoft, in that instance, was saying, "Oh, we'll buy you," because Microsoft is an opportunist. They have a lot of money. Like, they wouldn't mind having their hands on a social media platform. So I think that's what that was about. From what I understand, I could be wrong, but I just wanted to kind of put that. I don't know if that has concluded yet. I think at this point in time, they're still connected to this Chinese financier. But other than that, like, it's not like you were saying. Like, it's not a company that's owned by China in the sense that they have all this data being pulled from you. And data collection is a problem.
It's everywhere.
Tons of different companies do it, and it is an invasion of your privacy. But like,
point it out for one place, you kind of need to go everywhere.
Right.
You can't just that's when it becomes, now you're starting to target, and that's when it becomes, to me, illegal, or it should be illegal. If it's going to be for one company, it needs to be across the board, so that way it's fair all around.
Especially with these American companies that we know for a fact are data collectors.
Yeah. Because when you go on Facebook and you're like, "Oh, I looked something up a while ago," and you go on there and there's nothing but ads of that on there, and it's like,
see, now the thing with that, right? I don't have a huge problem with data collection. I know that there's an invasion of privacy. I know there's things that they don't need to take from me. But for that specific, like, look, I'm looking for a new mattress, right? And I did a search the other day, didn't find anything I liked. And then Facebook had a whole bunch of other suggestions when I was on there later. And I was like, oh, this is a good deal. Let's start looking at this. Let's start looking at that. So it is, I think, essentially,
I think there should be an option. You should be able to say, yes, I'm okay with this, or no, I'm not okay with this.
I think that's what VPNs are for.
I mean, unless you know about them, you don't necessarily have the option. I mean,
no, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, and here's my thing, though. There's always the terms and conditions that do state that. Now, I'll say that not everyone reads that, but
because
it is there.
If you don't accept it, then you can't use a thing. It's not like you can say, "Okay, I agree to this, I agree to that."
And because of that, I can't necessarily say, "Oh, it's there." Like there's anyone's fault. It's like, here are the terms of using this. You can or you cannot accept this. If you accept it, please enter. If you don't enter.
Don't do it. It's
and I say that because just going kind of picking back off what Blue said, data collection is everywhere because the internet has just made the world so much smaller. Because of all that. So on one hand, you do have, for example, you don't have to use Google. You can use DuckDuckGo. There are other search engines.
Let me give you a scenario. So
ask Jeeves.
You have let's say you have the coronavirus.
Maybe not. What?
You have the coronavirus, right? Let's just say.
Oh, that sucks.
There's a cure, all right? And the terms and conditions of this cure is once you take it, now you become an indentured servant. It's in the bottom line down there. You're not thinking about the fine print. You're like, I need to get this cure, or I might potentially, pass on to the nether. So,
well, see, I think the difference
here, and then you find out later that, oh man, I gotta work for 8 years to pay off, this particular situation.
Now, I would say that there's a little bit of a difference with that.
Just a tiny bit.
I mean, first of
your
all,
life is on the line. Versus I can message my cousin.
It's almost the same thing.
No.
Well, because here's the thing. I can opt out and delete all my data from TikTok. I could stop using it right now. With the example that you gave, I don't have that option.
But if you were to delete your TikTok right now, you would opt out from further collection, right? They would still have everything up to that point, I'm assuming.
You have to you just like with Facebook, you have the opportunity to collect all your data and delete it.
Oh, so even past and present.
Yes.
So let's say they can extract the cure if you change your mind later on. Let's say 2 years down the line, I had enough of this. Take it back. I'm done. What then?
I mean, look,
they still have whatever they put in up until then, right? So it should be good.
I think the biggest difference with this analogy is that you're talking about something more of a necessity.
For some people, it's a necessity, though.
Well, this is the thing, right? If I don't have Facebook, I will still have a healthy life.
You will, not everyone.
Everyone will still have a healthy life if they don't have Facebook.
I would say if you need Facebook to have a healthy life, you were already unhealthy to begin with.
Exactly. That's the biggest difference. Because when you're talking about, selling a cure for 8 years of service, that's
unethical on a whole lot of levels. I don't think you can get a terms and conditions like that to go anywhere. Like that's not.
That's holding a person's life hostage. So I don't think that analogy holds up, bro.
So there's one last thing that I want to say on this. When I was looking at this story, and it was actually a tweet, and it said this. If the United States saw what the United States was doing to the United States would liberate the United States from the United States for the United States.
Oh, man.
There's a lie.
That's funny and all, but I feel like the United States has a very different idea of itself than it has always been. Like, as far as I'm concerned, this is par for the course for the United States. Like, from day one, they've been on that BS, in all honesty.
He's trying
to
pull
zero, fam.
A Putin. He's trying to pull a Putin, pretty much, because
he idolizes dictators.
How long has he been in office? And I mean, I watched.
He tried to extend his term.
If there was any type of so hip hop is up and coming over there for the most part. So you got a lot of rappers who rap about the political situation over there. So they shut down all concerts and anything like that to help contend with the anti-government sentiment over there.
That's what dictators do. Trump would love to be a dictator. It just so happens there are two other branches of government and of so-called free people that are allowed to speak out against him. He doesn't like that, but that's the way this country is supposed to work.
Supposed to.
And TikTok helps. As much as I personally hate TikTok as a social media platform, it's part of free speech. And it can be amazingly helpful in times like this. So, but we'll move off of the social media stuff and get into more game talk. Jeff, what do you got for us?
Okay, so Halo Infinite will feature a free-to-play multiplayer mode and run at up to 120 frames per second on Xbox Series.
What do you guys think of a free-to-play Halo?
Just like the free-to-play Call of Duty Warzone, it should be good.
Now, I don't know if that means the entire multiplayer aspect will be free-to-play or that a mode of it will be. For me, then it feels... Because if you own Xbox Series X, they did say that Halo Infinite was coming to Xbox Game Pass, correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we won't really be paying for anything to begin with. But I think
if you have Game Pass.
Yes, if you have
Game Pass isn't intrinsically tied to just owning a console. You do have it is a subscription service.
Yeah. So I think this is a good way to... You can either play the game and just play the multiplayer like some people do. Or if you want to play the single player, and if you don't have Game Pass, which I don't know who doesn't have Game Pass.
They're out there, man, and I don't understand them.
It's a good push
They just mad.
for a reason to get Game Pass if you want to play the multiplayer. Play the campaign.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good way to get people involved in it and push the IP a little bit further. But I don't see... I don't see the downside of it.
I would agree with that sentiment.
I know that there are I like the term that Gamer used a couple weeks ago, Sony ponies out there that are saying like, oh, this last exhibition they were just lying to y'all because a lot of these games that they said everything's on Game Pass, right? But they didn't audibly say only like parts of the games are on Game Pass, like what you're saying, just the multiplayer aspect.
Well, I mean, to clear that up, the multiplayer is free to play, so that's free for everyone, even outside of Game Pass.
Game Pass.
There's I think it was Crossfire X and a couple other games that were in that display that said it's only the multiplayer that's going to be included in Game Pass, and then the rest of it you actually got to buy, right?
Right.
So that's a granted, it was in small writing on the screen there. I think that's something that we need to think about when we talk about the value of Game Pass. You know what I mean? And not saying that it diminishes it dramatically, but it is a little bit different because I'm not getting Halo Infinite included with Game Pass. I'm getting a mode from Halo.
No,
Infinite.
you are. Like, I think that's
don't-
kind of
okay.
turned around.
You know what? You're right. Not with Halo Infinite, with these other games. With Crossfire
okay.
and yeah. I'm sorry. But that's something that we got to really look at when we talk about what's included in the Game Pass. So you're right. Halo Infinite, as far as we know right now, whole game included in Game Pass, right?
Yeah, so this is actually going a step further and saying even if you don't have Game Pass, you can still play the multiplayer because that section is free to play.
I don't think they need to be releasing no more news about it until they release some new graphic because ain't nobody want to play that right now.
I don't know.
The fact that they announced it is free to play for everyone, to me, doesn't do anything for me. I don't see it as a negative thing, but I don't see it. It's kind of helped combat some of the negative light they got when they could have just fixed this with a nice fleshed out gameplay video, and that would kind of just dismiss all the scrutiny about the last one.
Yeah, because on the one hand, a lot of times you hear free to play, and that makes you feel like, okay, it's a more budgeted version of a thing. Yep. And especially since the outpouring of after the showcase, people were like, oh, Halo's not looking too hot. Like, I can see how that can look like a downward trend. But honestly, I feel like this kind of supports the idea that Halo Infinite is going the route of a game as service, where they're going to release this game as a platform and just keep bolting on more stuff and features and content onto it, which is a good thing. I think Halo could benefit a lot from that kind of treatment. And if the core multiplayer, at least, is something that anyone can get access to, like, think about what that did for any other game that made that available. Like, Fortnite is as big as it is because outside of everything else, its most popular mode is free to play. And Halo multiplayer is its most popular mode. Halo's campaigns have historically been a very big deal, but the multiplayer is what has made Halo what it is today. And if that's free to play, anyone can just jump in and, do it whatever. It can make them excited enough to do anything else in that franchise. It gives Microsoft hooks to players coming into their ecosystem, like at no cost to them. And honestly, it helps the Halo player base stay afloat, because if they've been hemorrhaging players over time, this is a good way to just make sure there's always, a good number of players at any given time. So like I like this idea. Like I think honestly, any other first-person shooter with a multiplayer component should be looking to do this.
Unless I have to pay $60 for it. I'm just saying. If I have to pay $60 for it and they make half the game free, that's when it's
no, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt. No, excuse me. It's gonna be $70 by that time.
Well, at what point are we going to be getting our quadruple A games?
We still haven't heard from the initiative yet, so
yeah, like the quadruple A, because let's just add an A to it. That's how we're going to get them to pay more money. Add another A.
Well,
the last A stands for aw snaps.
What do the first three A's stand for?
Don't worry about it.
This is coming from someone who isn't really big on graphics, but is it really that much big of a deal that it runs at 120 frames per second?
For a competitive shooter, yeah. It makes a difference in terms of moving and shooting and just the feel of gameplay.
Okay. Seeing who shot first.
Okay, thank you, because I was looking at that and I'm just like, okay, so if you don't have a monitor that can get up to 120 frames,
but that's another issue.
Run at 120 frames, what does this even mean? But hey, okay.
I mean, yeah, you'll definitely need to, because honestly, if you don't have a 4K TV for your Series X, then you're also not getting 4K gameplay. You know what I mean? So you're gonna need to upgrade somewhere at some point.
So what you're saying is Microsoft needs to have some sort of Game Pass for their monitors.
No, I mean
do y'all remember? I think it was the PS4. Yeah, they sold like a 3D TV. There was like a bundle with the 3D TV.
Yes, because Sony made 3D TVs. Yep.
Yo,
I remember that.
That was stupid.
If they could do some kind of hardware bundle, I think they might have something.
I don't know. Sony tried it, and I think it's a dumb idea. Like it was Sony. What are their TVs called? Because Vio's the laptop. I can't remember what their TVs are called.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about remember the really small PlayStation and you can attach a little TV on the back of it?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, I do remember that.
Right? Like that was an all-in-one kind of thing. I just had to plug that puppy in. Like, let's go.
Yeah, that was cool.
My last tangent on that. My very first job, I worked in a it's back in Cali. I worked in a public pool, right? And I was like the locker room boy. I had to switch out lockers, hold all your personal stuff, and blah blah blah, whatever. But over the summer, I would bring in my GameCube and a portable DVD player and all the and it had a little aux connection.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So I was sitting in my little booth. Son, I was playing Super Smash Bros. I was playing everything on my GameCube, and people were like, I need to hang this up. I'm like, hold on, I'm about to pass this level. Boom, all right, cool. What you need? But anyway, okay, yeah, that's my whole thing on the little screen.
Okay, so with that, we'll close off that portion of Game Talk. Our final topic is something kind of dystopian in nature. Apparently, there are new Israeli tanks. They're not in the market yet, but I guess they're a prototype that they're considering that uses both video game AI from StarCraft 2 and Doom, as well as Xbox controllers as to interface with for a tank, for an actual war machine. So essentially the goal is to get soldiers to basically get up to speed with controlling, this high-end equipment much faster than they normally would, because controlling a tank is super complicated. And if you have something that most people of that age range, they said from like 18 to 21, who are enlisted, are familiar with, the time drops dramatically for them to be able to understand all the functions. And they make the interface look like a video game screen that has weapon loadouts, remaining ammo, targets. It's an actual video game HUD, and you control with a video game controller. It just makes that transition so much easier. You become a much more effective, tank operator, which makes a lot of sense. I can't fault them for coming up with this kind of a system, but what does that mean when the instruments of war are so closely tied to the instruments of playing video games at home?
If I could, Ready Player One.
Go ahead.
Or even
Ready Player One was on a virtual level, right?
Yeah, that was all virtual.
You remember that that movie with oh my god, what's the guy's name? From Law Abiding Citizen, Gerard
Butler.
Oh, you're talking about
Gerard
Gamer.
Butler. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Gerard Butler. You're talking about Gamer, where they
When
actually
you-
control.
Yeah, I remember that movie.
With the
Yeah, I
controller,
remember that.
and it actually had a HUD and everything.
Yeah, and it was a gamer, but he controlled an actual soldier, right?
No, it was a prisoner. They were all prisoners.
Oh, it was a prisoner, but he.
Yeah, as a player, yeah. I'm looking at this and I'm like, this does not surprise me at all, especially because, and I like how it was an Xbox controller, because you could just, it's a very common piece of equipment that a lot of people are going to look at and be like, yeah, okay, I can, sit around and do this sort of thing. And if that just happens to be the best way to get over that hump, then sure.
I think there's a specific.
You got a PS4 controller somewhere? I don't. I didn't own an Xbox, so I'm not really good with this. Oh my god!
No, I think there's a specific reason.
I'm with PC now, so.
No, I think there's a specific reason that the Xbox controller is used, because in the whole article, there are other instances where the Xbox controller was basically chosen to do these kind of other mechanical functions, right? I think it's because that design translates the best. Nintendo adopted it, and they're the basic creators of the modern controller in general, but they adopted Microsoft design. PS5 adopted Microsoft design going forward. So the feel, I think, is comfortable. The layout is probably just the most comfortable for like the widest group of people. So if you're gonna go with a default video game controller feel, I think that's where you go.
If y'all want to see Sigma hype, just tell him, hey, I kind of like the Xbox controller. He's like, yup, because it's so much better.
The ergonomics work.
It's gonna hurt when I use it.
But hold on.
No, you're not right. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
But I do. No, also go ahead.
I was gonna say, when it comes down to like, what does that mean? What is the tools of war are also the tools of fun? What does that mean? I think it means it is what it is. There's lots of things that have started in the military sector and have gone to civilian sector. That's and we see it as commonplace now. This, we're kind of seeing it the other way around, but honestly, if you do enough research, there's probably evidence to find that a lot of the things that we're used to now already started in the military sector. So I don't know. I'm not stressed about this. It's interesting to see, and it is a little scary knowing that the same kids who play Fortnite could be controlling tanks.
Well, on that note, I want to read a quote that really stuck out to me in this article.
Okay.
The screens contain much of the same info one would find when playing Fortnite or Apex Legends, including a map, a tally of ammo stores, and a list of available weapons. It's also displayed in a way that one would expect to see while dropping into Call of Duty Warzone, with relevant information framing the crew's view, of course. Of course, here, the screen displays the reality outside, with live targets and real weapons. So it's very much so borrowing all of the HUD and the aspects of a virtual thing and then putting real lives at stake. And I feel like there's something there that is very scary, but just like you're saying, Blue, like, that's kind of what humans do. Like, if this is what's comfortable to you in one place, it'll be comfortable to you in another place. And if this is something that bothers you in another place, like, humans take that baggage with them everywhere they go. Like, I'm wondering, like, if this is the thing that becomes widespread, what happens to those soldiers who, spend a lot of time in a tank using, a HUD display like a video game, holding a video game controller, and they come home to play video games, and it's like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah. Well, what about another caveat is where you don't hesitate a second to shoot somebody in a video game if you're controlling a tank? Do you still have that distance when you're actually controlling the tank? Now, do lives mean? Yeah. Are they a life to you, or are they just another player?
Yeah, like it can bleed in both directions.
Now, what's supposed to mitigate that? I guess enabling of that savagery. What's supposed to eliminate that or mitigate that is psych evals. You're supposed to make sure that they're mentally fit to do this. Now, not saying that someone's mental state can't deteriorate over time by any means. I'm a victim of post-traumatic stress disorder because of what I experienced overseas, right? And some other things as well. But there's nothing that can really prepare you for that as much as they do their examination. They're like, okay, you're fit enough to know when to shoot and when to not right now. You're supposed to have constant psych evals. And a lot of the Air Force, when they're doing these drone strikes and stuff like that, they're already in these video game like tanks. Like, this has been going on for a long time already. It's just looking different now. And I think what a lot of people also need to realize when they're saying, oh, they borrowed all this information from these games brought all this information from real life because it's relevant information. If I was in enemy territory and I needed to know how many bullets I had left, I'd rather not count or have a count in my head. I'd rather just have it display on the screen. That's just convenience, and I think at the end of the day, a lot of times convenience can mean the difference between life and death. And so I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that at all.
It's true. I mean, it's definitely a touchy subject, I feel like, but
it's real.
yeah, like it's the reality of the situation. Like people still make war in this time, and like they're gonna try to make the they're gonna try to keep their people safe, and like this kind of thing helps because just like we were talking about with Valorant, like if we had a controller when we were trying to make those decisions in the game, it would have been way snappier than if we had to try to look and figure out a thing that we were just now learning, you know. So it helps.
Right.
Always brings it back to, not always, but it brings it back to Guardians of the Galaxy 2 with the gold people when they were riding those virtual ships.
Oh
yeah.
And then when the first time you see it's actually not, they're actually not in the ship. They're just on like a game, and it says like, oh, game over or whatever it said.
Mm-hmm.
When they got destroyed, so it was, you know.
I mean, it's an option. If and honestly, this is a bigger philosophical question, but I'll open the door of it. We don't have to go down the road, you know.
Okay.
But like when you do automate war to that level, where it's no longer people's lives in on the line, and it's all machines eventually, because that's kind of where they're going for. Drones is the start of that, right? Once it's just millions of dollars of machines destroying one another back and forth, it's like, what's the point of this? No one's dying. Well, you're wasting a ton of money. At that point, why not just talk?
That's assuming that they're targeting each other's machines and not facilities to create these and different things like that. That's assuming that they're just meeting up in a battlefield and like, okay, let's fight now. Like that's
you're right, but like because you're gonna get to the point where it's like, okay, I have all my defenses that are manned by automated people protecting lives, and then I have all my attackers which protect lives by not putting them in those attackers. So it's like, okay, I'm in a turtled up base, and I have these extensions of my armaments that go out. No one's getting hurt. We're just wasting tons of money. Like that's how I feel like this all eventually leads to.
Because we're not fighting each other anymore. I think we're starting to fight the main villain, which is going to be aliens. So we got to get prepped.
Oh my god.
For that battle, you know. So this is why we're up in the ante. We're getting ready for he who shall not be named, you know. So
Japan is building a Gundam.
Yeah,
I was going to say that was stupid and ridiculous, but it is 2020, and
anything can happen.
They already confirmed UFOs and everything.
You know, they predicted it, you know, back in Independence Day. So we got to get ready for that. That's what we're doing.
Man. All right, so real quick, we're going to go into our mailbag question. We didn't get to it last week, but we'll try to flesh this out. Now, 6060, once again, coming through with the question. He asks... Oh, I'm sorry. You guys can also send questions to BBETGaming@gmail.com.
That's true.
Don't forget.
I want to hear them.
Like Snake360 did. He asks us, what Bender class / subclass do you feel is overrated in the Avatar franchise, and why?
Sigmund, you go first.
Me?
Yeah.
In terms of overratedness...
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to understand.
I feel like the Firebenders are very... Like, they're the bad guy, and it's because they think of themselves as superior, so I feel like a lot of the fan base also says, like, oh, firebending is pretty powerful and whatnot. But one thing that you learn down the road, and I'm pretty sure Gamer has gotten to this point already, so I hope it's not a spoiler, is that emotions play a big part in their bending. And I feel like that's a detriment. Like if, like, cause in martial arts, emotions play a part in like your technique intensity. For sure. Yeah. But if it completely hampers your ability, like I feel like that's kind of a huge setback, don't you think?
See, Aang couldn't get a hang of it until he was able to become like a rock. You know what I'm saying? Like he couldn't bend until he became unmovable as earth.
Yeah, it was a mentality thing. Yeah.
So I think that's where the mentality plays into everything. I think that's another reason why it's harder for him to get certain bendings because of his nature. Like it was hard for him to learn certain ones because of how he was as a person. So I think emotions do play overall, but
I mean, you guys remember there was a time period where Zuko couldn't bend at all.
That was because of internal conflict.
Exactly.
Yes.
Like, wouldn't that apply to anybody though?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. I felt like for firebending, because even when people were like bad at, you know what? You might be right. Because even when people were like bad at the bending, it was like it's not like them being bad was that they couldn't get it to work. It was that they just didn't have technique. You know what I mean? But like when it just couldn't bend at all, yeah, it was more of a mental thing.
Because remember, Aang couldn't do firebending for a while either because he was so afraid to hurt somebody.
Right,
So
and that was literally a mental block. Yeah. All right, so I still think firebending is overrated because I feel like all the other bending styles have a lot more versatility. And firebending is very flashy, but it has, fire, it has lightning, and then that's pretty much it. Like, what else do you do with fire and lightning other than burn stuff and shock stuff? Like, you can't make it do another thing. I mean, that's where I dropped on that.
So, I don't know if y'all remember, but I haven't really gone through the series. I've seen episodes here and there. And I don't know a whole bunch about it. But I feel like so fire bending is fire and lightning. You can kind of I've seen earth bending used for metal bending as well, right? What kind of other versatility do these other bending styles have? For example, what can air bending also do besides blow a gust of air?
We haven't seen much of any subcategories from airbending that I've seen. We know
what about water?
We know water has swamp and blood bending.
Yeah,
okay, that's right. I do remember blood bending. Yeah, that was scary as hell.
And water at base also transforms to ice.
Yeah.
So like that's already two forms right in one.
Water definitely has the most.
Yeah, water is the most versatile as far as I'm concerned. Like that would be my favorite.
Air, I can't remember. He did some unique things with his air bending, but I don't remember there being any subdivisions of air bending. And
that's why I would say
wiped out for years.
That's partly why you don't get to see a lot of variety in the air bending styles because you only have Aang for most of that series. But the second series does start to introduce a lot more cool air stuff. If you remember, I don't want to spoil too much, but
Legend of Korra, right?
Yeah, Legend of Korra has some. But again, yeah, it's just interesting applications of the air bending versus like a whole new style, like an advanced version of the style.
So with all that information, I believe that airbending is the most overrated.
But the thing, I don't think people overrate it, is what I'm saying. I feel like people rarely pick air as their preferred choice.
I think they pick air more than they should. I don't think anybody should pick air.
No one should pick air.
Nobody should.
You may have a point.
Picking air is just love for Aang.
That's true. Yeah, that could be turned to heavy
because there really wouldn't be much to airbending except I've seen Aang do it and some applications, but that makes sense. I'll go next if I could.
Yeah, man.
Firebending, and I'll tell you why. As I've started to watch this cartoon, I have been trying to get into the fandom, get into the mindset of the show, and my personal experience. Firebenders are arrogant little pieces of crap. They really are. They feel like they are just so. They feel like they are just so much better, and it's just like you realize that my drink of water will just put you out, right? Like you realize that, right? And it's like, but I can lightning bend, and then yes, that lightning bending can also be redirected. So next, and it's like, my fire's blue, and I can fly and do all that stuff, and it's just like,
hold on, can a non-firebender redirect lightning?
Yes. Remember, it originated from the water tribe, but not everybody could use it.
Well, Iroh said he developed it by watching the water tribe, but he didn't say that the water tribe people could do it.
No. Remember, he made it up.
Yeah, he made it up. I thought it was something only a firebender could do.
Yeah. Nobody else could do it besides him and Zuko.
But I'm just wondering about the possibility. Like, he taught Zuko because Zuko's another firebender, but could a non-firebender do it? I thought that was impossible. I thought you had to at least be able to control fire to some extent. But yeah, I guess we don't have proof.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
it was just channeling energy. It wasn't, it had nothing to do with fire. It was just channeling the energy through your body.
I
But
mean,
we
but
don't know.
that energy is electricity, which is connected to fire. So I don't know.
I will say, like, hearing you guys talk about this, especially the Fire Nation and how they're arrogant, it reminds me of, and I'm not going to go too far into this, but it reminds me of, dark side versus light side, Jedi powers and stuff like that. The Sith really believe in using your emotions, using that confidence, using that pride, using that anger, using that sadness, whatever it is inside you, use that and funnel it at your enemy like that. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's pretty dope. It takes a lot of work to fine tune and funnel that that energy properly, and that's why I think that it's probably harder than people would assume to be a good firebender.
Yeah, they don't look at it that way. I think also you gotta look at it as you had people who were in control of their emotions. Iroh, who was it probably up there with the Fire Lord as far as firebending goes, and he didn't rely on hate or anger. He was at peace within himself, which allowed him to,
Okay.
which he gave him another source. It wasn't saying that anger was the only source of firebending. It was saying that it was a source.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
he was able to, when Zuko learned the sun bending or whatever, or
Yeah, like he
something
basically
that.
went back to the roots of firebending.
Yeah, of what firebending was. So it wasn't that firebenders their only source was anger. It was that was a source he was used to using. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's another thing. For me, it was gonna be lava bending. I feel like that was it's a subcategory of earth bending.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I felt like to me that was just the same as fire bending. So I don't feel like it was just hot earth to me. I don't feel like it was anything.
I mean, I like lava bending as a concept, especially since
it, but I don't feel like it was anything like super
special.
crazy. Like,
Well, I mean,
you can lava bend. Okay.
Well,
yeah,
it's more like a hybrid class. I feel like, right? Because Bolin, he has a mother, I think, who was a firebender. Like, so that's kind of why that works. Say again?
Nothing.
No, because I think it works because it's kind of like, okay, he has the lineage of another element in him, but since he's an earthbender, he can tap into the fireness of his earthbending, which I thought is dope and unique from like the more purebred classes of bending that have advanced levels. Because like he couldn't metal bend, right?
I think it was overrated. I don't think it was like as
cool as they was making it out to be.
Yeah, as powerful as something as like metal bending.
What do you think, Gamer?
I mean, I would agree with that.
Okay, lava bending was kind of not useful at all. Sorry. I can't I can't find a reason to be into a fight and think, yes, lava bending, when I could just earth bend or fire bend. It's like, it's nice that those two things are coming together, but it's like, I like peanut butter and I like sushi. I'm not going to put those two things together in a sandwich.
Yeah, I don't think they're that divorced from each other.
Airship, there's no lava. You know what I'm saying? Like when they were fighting on top of the airship.
Yeah.
The airship, there would have been no. He would have been useless at that point.
But yeah, exactly.
What's the point?
But there would have been no Earth either.
Yeah.
But like if you could make a rock and then you could also make that rock on fire, like I feel like that's a boost. That's a boosted ability, right? But no, I get it because it's like a hybrid class. It's not like it's like, okay, I leveled up and now as an earthbender I can use metal. This is kind of like a sideways thing. I feel like.
I see it as like an S tier when I see it as more of like an A tier.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, like it's not. It's like it's an alternate version of the thing you're doing, not like the next level.
Yeah. Got you.
But I think that does it for all of our picks. That's gonna also do it for episode 57. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. We're gonna go ahead and sign off. Jeff, where can people find you if they're looking for you on the internet?
Oh, if you are looking, you can find me at Superman Jeff 12 across all social media. That's Twitch, that's Twitter, that's Instagram, that's Facebook. Also, go ahead and hit that like button at the bottom and subscribe so that way you get notified when we post new content.
Yeah.
Thank you. Gamer, how about you?
You can find me on almost all social media platforms at SBRMRGAMER. On Twitter, no, it's Instagram that has the underscore, and I'm also on TikTok, Mr.Gamer24. So, yeah, that's gonna be loads of fun until our fascist and chief tries to ban it, which he won't.
Real quick, I heard about 80 million TikTok users jumping ship to TikTok's competitors just in case Trump shut that down. 80 billion, y'all. They had zero faith.
That's a lot.
Yes. Yeah,
But
no, you are correct.
But Blue,
Anyway,
how about
sorry.
you?
It's your boy Blue Bones BLUB0NES. I know I have a lot to talk about today. My bad, y'all. You can find me on all those social media platforms at that same BLUB0NES. Yeah, I'm gonna be streaming some main story of Ghost of Tsushima this week. I'm pretty excited about that, and I probably want to get some grounded in as well. So definitely hit up the Twitch, hit that follow button. Yo, Jeff, it's just like Resident Evil, fam. I'm gonna watch you. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna host you. I'm gonna put a couple comments, and then I'm gonna minimize the screen. But I'm gonna keep it running. But yeah. But lastly, but definitely not least, Mr. Sigma, where can people find you?
You can find me on pretty much all social media at Sigma Gears 9. You can find me on Facebook at Sigma and Son. You can find all of the 3-minute reviews that I'm doing, as well as a bunch of new streams that I'm on at the Escapist YouTube or escapistmagazine.com. I mentioned this on the Smash stream last week, but not on the actual podcast. I'm now on a new show with my boss called The Editor's Hour every Monday afternoon, I think 3 p.m. Eastern to 5 Eastern, I think, is around that time. And it's my boss kind of going through his back catalog and me kind of commenting on what he's doing, interacting with the chat. And last week we were giving out free codes for Super Hot and its sequel, Super Hot Control Mind Delete. So come through, you might get some free games because apparently that's a thing we're going to be doing. So definitely check that stuff out. Thanks everyone for listening. Thanks for watching, especially. Thanks to my 3 co-hosts. That's going to do it for this episode. Peace.
Deuces.
Picture me riding and rolling with models. Brand new Ferraris like we was winning the lotto. And that's all those fathers with me. Pouring the bottle, playing that ONG music that's gonna blow like Chicago.